is their strengths are our weaknesses. They'll play a 2-2-1 press on all makes, and they play zone 100% of the time. So we've got to find a way to not turn the ball over against a 2-2-1 press, and we've got to find a way to figure out their 2-3 zone.
Questions?
How important was it to get that kind of quality out of conference win going into SEC play?
Well, I thought it was huge. I think Florida State, besides maybe TCU, was our strongest opponent that we had in non-conference play. So to give our guys some confidence going into SEC play, where you're going to see teams like Florida State on a day-to-day basis, gives our guys some confidence they can be the quality opponent, and to have that happen right before you go into SEC play, I think is good for our guys.
Did you see something in practice, Coach, after that game, a little more pep in their step, or anything that you can point to?
I like to say that, but you know, guys are, you know, you become satisfied real quickly after a win and things like that. So I tend to be a little bit harder on guys after wins like that, so we don't become complacent.
Chicken showed a few more glimpses of being back to form the other night with his explosion and driving the ball. Did you kind of see that?
Yeah, I think from each day we're starting to see a little bit more out of him as far as like getting back to his old explosive self. Now he's not fully there because what he does, he shows it in glimpses, and before he would show it the whole time. So we've got to get to a point where we don't see glimpses of that. That becomes who he is again. So I think that's going to continue to happen here as he gets more reps and he gets in better physical conditioning here. So we need that from him, obviously, because he's a guy that can create offense for us, and we need that.
How did Gavin respond after playing on the ankle, and will Maurice play maybe Wednesday?
Gavin was fine. He had no sort of ill effects after playing the game. He was 100% in practice. He was able to compete and play. Mo Dunlap, still, that was the first time he had played without a splint, and so the whole time he had been playing in practice, he wasn't able to dribble or shoot with his right hand, so I thought it was really unfair to throw him out there just because he's taped now and not ever having taken the jump shot or being able to dribble with his right hand before.
Donnie was talking about on the SEC teleconference, y'all's paths have crossed over 25 years. Can you just talk about your relationship with him?
Yeah, me and DT go way back. He's a guy that I got acquainted with, and I was fascinated. I don't know if you know DT at all, but he has an unbelievable shoe collection. He has probably over like 250 pairs of shoes in his closet, and he collects shoes. And so, you know, when you're out in the recruiting circles as young assistants, you just sit down and kind of watch games. You start talking to guys, and we're somebody who continue to stay in contact throughout our time there. So I think DT's a really good coach, a hard worker. He's really engaging personality. I think he does a good job. DT does what I think we all want to do. He's simplified the game for his kids. You know, every single time on the made basket, they're going to 2-2-1. And then they're going back to that zone every single time. So he's not worried about ball screen defense. Do you switch this ball screen? Do you hedge this ball screen? Do you go under this ball screen? They're playing 2-3 zones. So what he's done is he's simplified the game for his kids so they can focus on playing hard.